Usually when we pull up a stack of reports on the BAFTAs, we're looking for, big upsets or maybe a red carpet disaster.
Yeah, definitely not a global broadcast ethics crisis.
Right. But the reports from the 2026 ceremony held just this past February 22nd are pointing to exactly that.
It really is the only way to describe it. I mean, the headlines initially tried to frame this as an unfortunate medical accident.
Which sounds plausible at first glance.
Right, until you dig into the technical breakdowns, that oops narrative falls apart pretty quickly.
It really does. So let's get you all up to speed. The core event is shocking. John Davidson, who is a Tourette syndrome campaigner, shouted the N-word during the ceremony.
And this wasn't caught on a hot mic backstage.
No, it was broadcast to millions on the BBC. And the context here is crucial.
Exactly. He didn't just shout into a void. This happened specifically while Michael B. Jordan, identified in our sources as a foundational Black American, and Delroy Lindo were presenting Best Special Visual Effects for the film Sinners.
It gave the slur a very specific, targeted weight. Our mission today is to look past those initial headlines and unpack the evidence of institutional negligence here.
Because the BBC's immediate defense was that producers in the truck, quote, did not hear the slur over the room noise.
Which you and I both know from the tech realities is, well, it's a weak excuse.
Very weak. If this were truly live, sure. But these awards were deferred live. They had a 2-hour tape delay.
2 hours. And normally live TV has those dump boxes, right? Even for a standard delay?
Yes, digital delay units. It holds the audio in a buffer before transmitting. If someone swears, an engineer hits the dump button and replaces it with silence.
And they usually have, maybe 7 seconds to react?
Mere seconds, yeah. Here they had 120 minutes.
Okay, so claiming they didn't hear it seems practically impossible, especially when you look at the selective censorship the sources highlight.
That is the glaring discrepancy. During that exact same broadcast, the BBC successfully edited out a Free Palestine remark by Akinola Davies Jr.
Citing impartiality rules.
Right, so the dump buttons were working. The team was alert. They silenced a political statement, but let a racial slur air.
And the reports mention Warner Bros. Executives actually alerted BAFTA to the slur during the ceremony.
Yes, so the editorial team definitively knew before the delay window expired.
They were warned, they had the tools, and it still aired. So if the technical excuse fails, we have to examine the medical shield.
Which was the media's big pivot. Focusing on Davidson's coprolalia, the involuntary profanity text.
And to be clear, we're impartially reporting what the sources say here. Neurologists and sociologists point out that while the tactics are absolutely involuntary, the vocabulary itself reflects social conditioning.
It's the brain grabbing at societal taboos. And when you compare the outbursts, there is a clear pattern of targeting versus randomness.
Right, because he shouted generic profanity like shut the F up at white figures like Sarah Putt.
Exactly. But the racial slur was specifically deployed against Michael B. Jordan.
Which matches what Hannah Beachley, the production designer, said.
Yes. She revealed she was targeted with the slur 3 times that night. It suggests a focus on Black attendees, not just random noise.
It's a massive systemic failure. And it wasn't just the broadcast. 2 days later, on February 24th, there was the Google glitch.
The push notification failure. It accidentally included the full N-word spelled out.
Unbelievable. It just reinforces this theme of automated anti-Black violence.
It does. Whether it's a human missing a dump button or an algorithm failing, it's exactly why John T. Richardson resigned as a BAFTA judge.
He stated the organization failed to safeguard the dignity of Black guests.
And critics highlight a real hierarchy of sympathy in the fallout. The media focused on Davidson's mortification instead of the incomparable trauma Jordan and Lindo experienced.
So summarizing all this evidence, it points to a hierarchy where political speech is heavily censored, but racial violence gets broadcast under the guise of inclusion or error.
That is the core takeaway.
It is. We want to leave you with this final thought to explore. If broadcasters possess the technology to silence political dissent in seconds, what does it actually reveal about their priorities when they claim they couldn't hear a racial slur across a 2-hour delay?